Howdy. I'm just going to try to demonstrate some of the things you want to build into your syntax for homework number 2. So I'm going to open up R and resize it here so it's not covering everything up. And then I made this example syntax that I'll email it out to everyone. I'll also post it on the resources page. But anyways, it starts, you can see, hopefully you can read this part. Hopefully I made this small enough. But it says section 1, document, author, and approximate date of creation. And you type that stuff up here in this section. And then section 2 is load data from file location. And if you can store your file on Dropbox, that'd be ideal, because then I can just run this as is. So then if you copy this stuff that we have learned to put at the start of our files, paste it in here, then it'll load the data in. And this is using the same example data set that I demonstrated. So obviously you would replace this here with your data, and you could give it a different name, whatever you want. And then section 3 is construct variables and cbinds for use in your analysis below. So I'm kind of demonstrating that here. So what I've done is I'm looking at the confidence related variables, including the index that I made in Excel that I uploaded along with this. And then that runs, and then since the very first variable is the index, we can see how each of these items is contributing to the variation in that index. And different things are more strongly correlated with the overall sort of index than others. So for instance, this interpret regression coefficients confidence, or interpret regressions, is more strongly related to the general measure than is, say, method of something. I forget what that was, but anyways, it wasn't as strongly related. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Another regression, or I mean another correlation matrix that I made after binding the variables together. If you recall, that there are these two sort of procedures. cbind is just like making a new sheet in Excel that then you can work on. So it's just taking some of the variables and putting them all together. And so then what I did is I just did a kitchen sink and grabbed everything. You could leave some things out if you want, and I just ran that. Or did I get an error? No, I don't think I did. Oh, I did. What happened here? Oh, I forgot to hit copy. That was brilliant. Copy, then paste. It's like, why did it run the old one? There we go. Okay, and then I get this error, which is interesting, is that no one had used Statistica, so there was no variation. It's just not a variable. That's why it comes up as an error. And I figured that out by just typing in. Yeah, it gave me standard deviation is 0, but if I type in kitchen sink, it'll tell me about it. Oops, sorry, not kitchen sink. If I type in use Statistica, where is it? Here. So if I copy that and I just ask for it, then you can see they're all zeros. And so that's why it didn't work. So actually that's one that would make sense to eliminate from anything you might construct, because it doesn't vary. It's actually not going to have any effect on anything. And so then in this section, I constructed some more variables. I'm going to go ahead and just grab the rest of them. I made a couple subsets of the indices using only a couple different variables, and then I ran some correlations on those. And then here's the explore section. So you might want to explore by plotting. I made these two new subsets of the confidence variable. So these just add up some of the variables that contributed to the confidence variable. This up a little bit, like that. And then you could kind of make a fancier plot of that. So I went ahead and did that. This one modifies the labels and the title, and also change the color. You could do other changes if you wanted. You can learn how to do those. I also made a new variable that computed the number of computers people have. Instead of the original variable, I just made it a binary variable, excuse me, whether they had a oh, my bad. Whether they had 2 computers or more. So I think that I need to close that out. Okay, cool. Let's run this one, histogram. So there's the original variable. It had different levels. And then what I did is I just grouped everyone in this group together and then everyone in this group over here together on the next version. So 2 plus computers if they had 2 or more. I'll paste that in there. Oops, I do. Oh, that shouldn't be there. Let's try that again. There we go. And so now it's just 2 different things. And another thing I did is I did a regression where I predicted people's confidence on this one dimension based on these other things that I'd measured and come up with. And so I can run that here. And then that gives us the result that confidence in, I guess it was analysis, was related to these different things. One of the variables I put in there is the number that people had, the order that they had signed up, and you can see actually that that's not a good predictor. That's kind of a good sign that some arbitrary variable isn't predicting it. And then people's exposure to software was predicting their kind of analysis confidence, and then their confidence in other aspects of research was really strongly related. And then whether they had a computer, 2 computers or more or not actually was related. So it's like if we had a much larger sample, those sort of resources that people had might have actually played a significant role. And these little stars over here indicate how certain we are that that's a real result that holds in the real world rather than just luck. And so anyways, those were some sorts of things I'd done, and then I copied actually the fancy plot I made and down here in the create final plots and graphs section because it's pretty fancy, but you would want to have a lot more there and also a lot more in the explore section. And then one thing I did in the final section, I listed my original variables and then the new ones I created above that. So I kind of had a list of all the variables that are being used in the analysis. So anyways, what you should do is start working towards your syntax starting to look more like this with these different sections that are performing different roles and filling in and learning how to do different exploratory stuff and also creating more final sort of presentation graphics.